I am here with the legend, the videographer, typhoon chaser, volcano enthusiast, ranging to snowscapes as well, the legend, James Reynolds. James, thanks for having a chat with me here today.
Thanks for having me, Rob. Thanks for having me on, Rob. You're too kind.
Yeah, and all of that. By the way, if you don't know who James is, everything I just said, he check out his YouTube channel. You probably have seen his footage in movies before. It's all over the place. He has snow videos in Japan, volcano footage, typhoons. James, how many typhoons have you been in?
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm kind of losing track. It's up into the 70s now, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's 16, so that's 17 years doing this now. It's time flies. It goes so fast. Yeah. Hopefully 170 more to come.
I honestly thought it was still like in the 50s or 60s, but I guess that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
that's complete chases overall. Not all of those trips have gone well, but that's every time a typhoon, cyclone, hurricane has spun up and I've gone on a plane and tried to intercept it.
so and the volcanoes as well. I mean, you filmed plenty of volcanoes. I saw you just released a video about Anak Krakatau in your new documentary series you've been putting out. You mind telling me a little bit about that?
What I've been doing is going over a lot of my old footage and trying to basically create this new video series for YouTube. It's kind of like a vlog. It's a bit of a documentary thing, but basically what it does is it follows me on my adventures, and I want to bring the viewers along as well, just so that they get an idea of what it's like to, film an exotic volcano in Indonesia or chase a typhoon on some tropical island somewhere. So what I've done started off with some of the old adventures I've been on. And yeah, just trying to make, some cool videos for YouTube, which hopefully people will dig and enjoy, have some nice music, and just make it look a little more slick than the previous stuff I've been throwing out there, which is kind of just raw footage, which a little more simple and less sophisticated. So I'm just trying to up my game a little bit.
Well, that's the big thing I've noticed with it. And I think a lot of people, I mean, I don't have the experience you have by any means, but I've been on a couple little typhoon chases, and people see your footage, and usually, you release 30 seconds to a minute YouTube footage goes out to the world, and people don't understand the process of getting said footage released to the world.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's what goes on behind the scenes, like the psychological aspects, the logistical aspects, the risks, the gambles I have to take. There's a lot that goes on. And look, in the past, I've actually struggled to kind of find the mental effort as well as the time to kind of capture and film all that. But now going forward, I really want to make a thorough documentation of just all the kind of behind the scenes work that goes into just getting those shots in the middle of the typhoon, getting to the spot where the worst conditions are happening and the craziness is taking place. It's a real interesting journey, and I want to share that with people.
James, I mean, you said you were doing this for the last 17, 18 years. Could you tell me about maybe just one or two of the most memorable storms you've been in?
Yeah, it's a great question, and obviously, number one has to be Super Typhoon Haiyan back in 2013, Yolanda, as it's called in the Philippines. One of probably the West Pacific's, most devastating typhoon of the last 50 years. Certainly for the Philippines, the deadliest on record. Yeah, that was something like I haven't ever seen a typhoon like that before. I don't think the world has. Just in a horrible class of its own. It was a crazy chase, and I hopefully never have to go through an experience like that again. There's been a few other wild ones as well. I'd have to say, do you remember Super Typhoon Nepatak in 2016?
Yeah.
2016 was a weird year. It had a really slow start. The first tropical storm didn't form until July, and that first storm was Nepatak, which was this Cat 5 monster. Yeah, that was a crazy chase in southern Taiwan. I was holed up in this building watching SUVs get thrown around and kitchen appliances flying through the air. that was a crazy storm, and it was a real kind of shock to the system after having 8 months off from chasing. But and a little bit controversial. I do feel that one was slightly underestimated by the warning agencies. I'm pretty convinced that was a super typhoon at landfall, but it was seriously some of the strongest wind I've ever seen.
You also filmed volcanoes, and one of the ones that is just very memorable to me is Cinnabon, where you filmed basically volcano tornadoes. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's you got a good memory. Yeah, I volcanoes fascinate me, and I really am interested in volcanic eruptions and try and shoot as many as I can. But yeah, this is a phenomenon I've seen quite a few times at volcanoes around the world. Are these kind of supercharged volcanic dust devils? Because the volcano is erupting all this hot material, a lot of the ground around the volcano is really hot. Where material has been erupted, and that ground can stay hot for years. And just like in the desert, you have the super hot ground and the cooler air above. It forms these it's these perfect conditions for these crazy dust devils to form. And especially at Cinnabon, there was this, when we were there, we just saw these crazy ones, just one after the other, just forming and then roping out, and then the whole process would start again. And then an eruption would sweep them away and it would all start again. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of interesting aspects to these kind of natural phenomena.
Yeah, I know last year we had the pandemic. You didn't really get out for too many chases. This year, are you looking forward to getting back out there? And what kind of your plan?
Yeah, it's absolutely I'm on a 2-year enforced sabbatical, I'm calling it. So this year, unfortunately, much like last year, just the way that the pandemic is being managed in East Asia, I'm based in Tokyo in Japan right now. The borders are going to be closed here for quite a long time to come. So I'm very much expecting to be stuck within Japan again. So I'll be chasing, the entire coast of Japan, basically. So we're talking all the way from Tokyo, thousands of kilometers to the tiny island of Yonaguni, which is just off the coast of Taiwan. So I've got a big stretch of the Westpac I can cover. There's probably going to be a lot of island hopping. I'm hoping to get vaccinated next month. That's going to be our ticket out of this nightmare. So with a little bit of luck, if the Japanese government open up their borders, I would love to be able to get to the Atlantic, the US and Mexico. All I'm going to say is, once this damn pandemic is over and I'm let off the leash, I'm going for it, man. There's been a lot of lost opportunities over the last 2 years. And, it's been a real wake-up call about just how fragile and short life can be. So I'm rearing to go. Really, I'm going to go for it.
So, James, is there anything you want to share with anybody watching, specifically people across the Western Pacific, about the upcoming season? Do you have anything else going on? I know you have your videos you're being released, and where can people find your stuff?
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube. It's just youtube.com/EarthUncutTV. Same for Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, I'm just going to be chasing everything that's coming Japan's way. And whether it's going to be a busy season or a quiet season, I don't know. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. But yeah, I hope to just be releasing, a very different look into what it's like chasing typhoons with this new video series. I'm really excited about that. And I'm just, really want to bring everyone along and also showcase the uniqueness of the places I get to, the beauty of them, because most tourists don't get to a lot of these places I get to. So that's kind of what I want to do as well, is just, these places are more than just typhoons. They're, unique, wonderful, special places.
All right. Well, thank you very much, James, for being here with me today. I'm absolutely ecstatic to sit down and talk with you. If people don't realize, actually, me and James, we go way back to 2009, 10.
A long time, dude.
Yeah.
Fast time flies. It's great to catch up with you now. It's been too long.
For real. So the minute you moved to Tokyo, I moved away from Tokyo too. So it's rough. But I miss you, man. So thank you very much for having a chat with me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, mate.